want to go to the meeting. And Sharon doesn't want to deal with the state.
All right, Pete, can you hear me?
Hi, Wilson. Can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. One of those old TV screen technical difficulties with,
Right.
with the music.
The elevator music or something. Just no.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Got you, Wilson. Do you have us?
Yep, I have you. Alrighty, you guys should be good to go.
All right, Wilson. Could you put Amanda in the waiting room? Or?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You.
Is she joining the meeting right now? I don't see her.
I registered. I haven't got the.
You have to
re-register again today. Did you re-register again today? Yeah.
Yep.
Just waiting on that.
Let me approve that real quick. My apologies.
No worries. Like.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the last little bit of the budget session for 2023-24. Let's get this thing going. And I guess we were at item 10, and maybe I'll hand it over to you, Tracy or Kayla. I'm not sure who would like to go on this.
We'll have Kayla start. We've made a few little changes since we all discussed yesterday, and we're just gonna go over those changes, and that will give you the final number for those transfers.
Okay, super. Kayla,
So after we all left, well, we didn't all leave. We were standing here. Adam came to me. So what I am proposing in 2024 is to go to e-poll books for elections. It's what I would like to do. Whether the state allows it or not, we don't know yet. But I need to prepare to buy computers, because what that does is that you register people and the poll book is on the computer at the same time. So you're registering someone as well as checking them in to vote at the same time. So what this does is this catches felons. This catches non-citizens. It catches people if they're already registered and have already voted in another county. So it's a real great thing to have. There were 4 counties in 2022 that piloted. Whether or not it's going to be ready to go for the state, I don't know. The Secretary of State will be at our clerk's meeting this week, so I hopefully will get an exact yes or no as to whether or not the counties that want to do it can move forward and do it. But it's going to be about, Adam thought $30,000 for computers, so the $30,000 is going into infrastructure. And then what we will do, hopefully, he's not sure, and I'm not really sure either as to whether or not those computers can then be shifted back into the pool of computers after the election. And then I don't want to do this every year. So I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be purchased for elections, and they'll be specifically for elections, but we're not really sure how that's going to look. But I'm not even sure if I will need it, but I don't want to not budget for it if we do move forward with it. So we upped his infrastructure in 1% by 30,000. No, we put the 30,000 in my elections line. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, it'll just get on cash on hand for next year. And then the election building with the cameras that we have in the building because that's where we store our election equipment. We needed an update on them. So Adam worked with the company to make sure that everything is by Homeland Security and everything that we have to have. So it's an update on our cameras in the election building, and it is the tune of $14,000. So we upped infrastructure by $15,000 just to give us a little bit of a $1,000, and really to keep it even numbers. So that's the 2 things that we changed after we all left yesterday. So the in my elections budget, the $30,000 and then the increase of 15 on the infrastructure at 1%. And I don't think you had anything different.
I changed, not as expenditures, but
Revenues you changed, but
I
nothing on
changed some
expenditures.
revenues.
And I don't think you had any other expenditure changes other than we updated all of the salaries. So everything that's in there now is correct as to what we spoke about yesterday with the 2.5% increase. And then anybody's increases that they requested prior to are also in there. I think Amanda we went through every single budget and did the update there. So it will show on the totals page what those totals are. So we should have true numbers. But I think we've all gone through the spreadsheets 3 and 4 times because I'm like, is it just, this feels too easy? And then I'm scared that maybe we were just making it too hard before and that's why we're all nervous now. But I think we've combed through it enough times that we haven't missed anything. I mean, we still have time. So at least if there is something missing, we do. But that's the change, the 2 changes that I had. And I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Kayla, is there any software with depot books or? do they come-
So no, the beauty of it is, so the state, so prior to there were counties, Laramie County had their own not their own software, they got it from an independent company outside of the state. In 2020, the state started working with WildReg, which is our statewide voter registration system. It's mandated by the state to do a module through WildReg so that it's connected directly with our voter registration. So no, there's not any additional software costs because it's through our WildReg system. So it's mandated by the state, which to me is the best way to do it. I wish that all of them, if they were going to do it, would do it that way because then we're all connected. The ones that have it through independent companies, they do it and then it gets, there's an upload after the election to connect everything. So there's not any additional software. It's a module within the system that we already have. So.
Super.
Yep.
Thank you.
okay.
All right, Tracy, I think it's you.
All right, I made a couple revenue changes with the updated information from Chelsea on the assessed valuations. I increased property taxes to the 13% for the estimate for an increase of $247,619, which then, of course, with that increased change, it trickles down, of course, to the library and the fair board. So then the fair board for the original mill levy request, which was $51,000 and some dollars, with this increase, then they only needed an additional $13,200, which we had $24,938 built into 1%. We lowered that down to the $11,736. So they will still get that total 51% they asked for. It's just $11,736 will be 1%. The 1% revenue, I went back and reviewed it in the last 3 years. We've received over $1 million, so I increased that revenue to the $1 million. No sense of waiting till cash on hand shows up next year. Might as well utilize those monies now. I also increased, it would ultimately be in the sheriff's revenue for abandoned vehicles. That transfer, I updated the amount for next year to the $14,621, which would maintain the $37,066 that we have to maintain for $1 for each person in the county. And then the last things I did were updated. I don't know, I must have just missed it, but for like some of the funds that the drug asset forfeiture, ARPA and ARPA revenue loss, I updated to include expenditures. They're already all allocated for their special uses, but we still have to have a budget in place for when we do spend for those uses. And then lastly, I updated the health insurance benefit account to current numbers, working with Amanda and for the revenues and expenditures on there. So with all those changes between Kayla's changes and these changes here, that leaves $146,202 in 1% that can be allocated or transferred or remain as ending cash. And in the general fund, that leaves a little over 1.1 million. To do however you guys.
Tracy, there's some unbelievable return on CD investments right now that are pretty safe and secure. Can we do stuff like that? Can we take $500,000 and put it in a 5% CD?
Everything, so we have a number, I'd have to look at the amount, but we have probably $8 to $9 million already invested. And previously we had them in safe municipal bonds and like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and those safe investments like that. But as those have been maturing, we have been putting them into CDs. Some of them, of course, are callable, some of them are non-callable, but we've been actually maximizing as much as we can in doing, I work with Chaz Kip, he's with MBS Securities, and we have it so it's laddered, so they'll, as they come mature, then we're gonna re-up. As much of interest that we can get, we're gonna get them.
Okay.
So.
You feel comfortable with where we're sitting right now, or do you have any recommendations for us?
After kind of some post-meeting discussions and the need to come up with money for Beach Street, I would like to see money, whatever we have left, to go to Beach Street. I mean, it's gonna be 3 to 4 years, and if we can start setting aside money to move second floor to Beach Street, I think that would be very handy in the long run.
We're gonna need to do some money for some energy efficiency upgrades, switches and lights. So where would you have us put that? I don't know what that number is gonna be.
I think it's for the building contingency.
Yeah. I mean, we could easily add on, yesterday in 1%, you included, had to include $300,000 transfer to that building contingency reserve. We could take the remaining 146,000 and move that over there, which I don't know how much your lighting project would be, but that's probably good, some good seed money to start. And then what's left in the general fund, perhaps we can take that directly over to the Beach Street reserve.
And do you feel like we should leave anything in the general fund, a couple $100,000 or?
We can leave some. I do believe, like I said, when I figured the cash on hand, I was super conservative. We don't have all the revenues in, we don't have all the clerk's revenues, the sheriff's revenues. Some of those things aren't included in my number at all. So any of that comes in is gonna be over and above what I did calculate.
Okay. So if you feel comfortable taking it all over to Beach Street. So would Terry, do you feel comfortable with that?
Well, I had a conversation last night with the builder. And they need to put a new roof on out there. Okay, that's a metal building. That's gonna be about as cheap as you can do. And that's gonna be 150,000. So that makes me think we're gonna be way under on 300,000 for this building in 501.
Way under, meaning we need more money.
We're gonna need more money.
Well, and we could beef up that building. Maybe we need to put more than.
And, you know, if we don't spend it, we don't spend it, but
Well, the nice thing about those funds is it's not a stronghold, not saying you can't, like the Beach Street Fund, if you had to pull money from there, that's at your guys' discretion. They're not restricted funds. So if you put it in there and then we say we needed to pull money because we didn't have enough, you can pull that. So that's, yeah, one nice
I
thing,
was
but I
just
don't.
floored that
Yeah.
what they were talking about on
Wow.
that metal building out there. So I'm going, wow. I
I'm a
thought it
little
was being
fearful.
pretty good. Might be 300,000 just for this building.
I think you might.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope
Yeah.
I'm giving incorrect information. I don't.
Scary.
Yeah.
So
So
do you want to
do you want to put more, or do you want to just use?
If
Beach
we can
Street as
transfer it around, what difference?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me.
Is there a difference?
No, it's solely restricted by you as a body, for use. I mean, it's all still county money. There's nothing to say that down the road, Beach Street maybe comes in at 50 million, and we'll never hit that number.
Wow.
And it becomes off the table, then you can take that money and put it
Yeah,
anywhere
that's,
you
yeah.
choose.
You'll help us remember when we forget.
Yeah.
I forget it. So when we do the roofs, and if they come in over,
Yeah.
to remind us to then the money should come from
Yep.
Beach Street.
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, when we do our pre-agenda, when we meet afterwards, when there are those budgetary items where we're talking about those things, I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we take the recommendation is take the rest of 1%, so 146 and some change there, 202. Put that into the building reserve account and then take the million, 126, 523, and put that into Beach Street. Is that Commissioners, you all right with that?
I am, because we can pull that out if we need to.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
That's cool. Good. Anything else? Yeah. Perfect. You know, I think before we wrap this up, I just kind of want to talk to you guys about going forward. This is a great process. Thank you for making it so easy, and for doing all the legwork and everybody who did their budgets. Going forward, I think, and we talked about it, the department heads and elected officials a little bit. If you have a position next year that you feel is underfunded, or you need a new position, if you could get with Anissa and get an idea of either where you are market value wise with what position, or have some idea of what a new position might cost us. I'd like to have that all done in with the budgets. And that way we can take some time to look at it. We can make sure that we have what we need to have as commissioners, and then we'll do what we did yesterday, and it won't be so feeling on the fly. So.
Afterthoughts are good.
Right.
No, well, that's how we learn though, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are good.
Yeah, sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not. It all depends. but-
So Kayla, Tracy, staff, are you guys all right with where we are?
Yeah. Yes.
They're happy. Look at them. They're smiling. They're
How's it
pretty
going?
here.
Just wait and vote for what we forgot.
Nobody-
We're all like,
Nobody's been crying or yelling at each other. I think it's very successful.
And Kim, Stacy, Sally, David, and Rob, are you guys good where you are? Super. Well, let's call that
Hey.
a wrap. And if there's some change between now and the 28th, let us know. With regard to the airport, if they'll just send us their budget, it would be nice to.
I believe we approve it tomorrow, so.
Yeah, and if they have some variations that they're gonna ask for county money, of course, they'll have to do the same process. Give us 2 or 3 sentences. I will be in on the call tomorrow, hopefully. And so I'll have a background. So. Super. All right, let's go.
Thank you, all you guys.
Yeah,
Guys.
Great work.
Sunny, Amanda, thank you so much.
Party.
I was gonna say, you guys made it very
Yeah.
easy for the rest of us.
So,